Hello everybody, Kitten here, and today I will be doing What If Deku Was Reborn as a Slime, part 32. So in the last part, Deku and Kirishima just went to Ice agency and basically got in. Now, continuing the story, Deku and Kirishima's first assignment after getting into Ice Agency are to patrol around the city with Mirio, which they do. Them basically walking around the city and chatting with each other. But that was when a girl would have ran out of an alleyway, her bumping into Kirishima's, leg. As Kirishima would look over to see a girl covered in bandages, him being confused as Overhaul would have walked out of the alleyway, him telling the heroes to basically give Eri back to him. But Kirishima would have ignored Overhaul, him asking Eri if she's okay or not, which Eri would just basically hug Kirishima's leg even tighter, with Kirishima knowing that this little girl, or Eri, is scared of Overhaul. Him saying, "What did you do to this girl?" "Sorry, heroes, this is none of your business. Now give me back my daughter." Kirishima being surprised to hear that Eri is Overhaul's, daughter. But Kirishima would just ask the same question again, which Overhaul would just basically being annoyed and saying, "Fine, I'll tell you, just can we go to a place not public? Because it is kind of embarrassing." As Overhaul would just walk back into the alleyway, him basically trying to take out his, gloves. As Deku, sensing that Overhaul is letting off a bit of bloodlust, he would immediately separate Eri from Kirishima, him telling Eri that she should not make her father worry, him also whispering to Eri that they are coming to save her, with Eri running back to Overhaul. Now, after Overhaul and Eri left, Kirishima would have yelled at Deku for basically not saving Eri and defeating Overhaul once and for all, which Deku would just say that if he do that right now, the civilians around them would be caught in the crossfires and even get hurt. Him also telling Kirishima to calm down and that he put a tracker on Eri. Kirishima being confused and saying, "Wait, you can do that?" Which Deku just nods. As Mirio would just say that they should go back to Eye and tell him what happened, which they all agree, and they would have went back to Eye's agency and telling Eye what they just basically found out. Now over with Bakugou, he would have been also patrolling around the city with Tamaki and Fat Gum. And just as the anime, a fight would have broke out between two groups of thugs or just villains. Bakugou seeing that, he would immediately rush in to try and stop the fight before they can actually hurt the civilians that are around them. Him doing so fairly easily because, Wind got it. As he would have lifted them up in the air and restraining their movements. But whenever Bakugou did that, that was when a villain that was in the crowd would have fired a bullet straight towards Bakugou. And right before the bullet can hit Bakugou, it would have stopped right in front of Bakugou. Bakugou, seeing the bullet, would have been a bit confused, because there is a needle on the bullet. But before he can inspect it even more, he would restrain the other villain that was in the crowd as well. While Bakugou was basically doing all of that, Tamaki and Fatgum would have been, well, shocked to see how powerful Bakugou truly is. And after Bakugou finished doing all of that, in like 1 minute or so, he would hand the mysterious bullet to Fatgum. As we will time skip to the conference meeting, it being mostly the same with the exception of Bakugou being present. And after the conference meeting ended, it would be time for the raid on Chisaki's, well, base, or just overall's hideout. It beginning with Katsukame, I believe I pronounced that right. You know, that guy that is very, well, muscular. Him busting through the front gate and trying to stop the raid, but he would only be met by a combined move from Kirishima and Bakugou, them yelling combo, compressed smash, with Kirishima firing a 50% Detroit smash and Bakugou using compressed nuke. This immediately sending Katsukame flying back, him hitting everyone that was behind him and basically being a bowling ball. Him also crashing into the base. With Deku, after Bakugou and Kirishima did that, he would have rushed in also. Him trapping everyone that evaded Katsukame in slime, them being confused as they would immediately get electrocuted, thus leaving them unconscious, with Katsukame getting back up and rushing towards the raid team, only to be stopped by the dragon hero Ryoko, with her telling the entire raid team that she can handle this and that they should get on with the raid, which they do, them running into the base as Certain Eye would have unlocked the door to the secret base, them going down to the basement as they would have saw a wall appear out of nowhere, them being a bit confused, but Certain Eye would have just told Mirio to look through the wall using his permutation, which he does, him going through the wall and seeing that there is a pathway, or well, the way, him coming back through the wall and telling Certain Eye about what he saw, with Deku using 30% of Black Lightning, he will immediately punch and break the wall. But whenever Deku did that, the floor underneath them would immediately open up and basically trying to make them fall down the hole. But that was when they would have been even more confused, since they are floating over the, well, hole, them looking around to see that there is some wind gathering around Bakugou's hand, because he is currently using Wind Gauntlet. Them also seeing that Deku is, well, flying with his wings, which he created with, the slime. Deku using Analyze and Ultrasonic Wave, he will immediately know that there is a guy inside the wall, him putting his hand on the wall and saying, "You have 3 seconds to get out of the wall, villain. 3, 2, 1. The villain, of course, not doing so, as Deku would just basically electrocute the entire base. Well, not the entire base, I mean the walls of the entire basement. This, of course, electrocuting the guy that was inside the wall, him being forced out of the wall as he would have been covered in slime, him being confused as Deku would have been right in front of him being punched in the face and knocked out, with Bakugou putting down everyone as they would continue to run in the hallway, them eventually encountering Hojo, Tabe, and Setsuno, I believe that's what those three names are. And just as the anime, Tamaki would have stepped up and saying that he will take care of those three, which he does, with the rest of the pro heroes and the policemen running past all four of them. And if you were wondering how they just ran past all three of them, it is because, just as the anime, Aizawa would have temporarily took all three of them down, everybody having to run through the hallway, as they would again encounter more villains, them being Rappa and Tengai. I think that's what that guy's name is, that barrier guy. With Rampa running in and trying to intercept the entire group, which he does, but his attacks would have been caught by, well, Kirishima, him hardening his entire body and fighting against Rampa. While Kirishima was doing that, the Tengai would have created a shield, or should I say, a barrier around the raid team, which would have simply be blasted open by Bakugou, him blasting towards Tengai to basically fight him, with Vacuum telling everyone to go on without them, him saying that they will take care of these two, as the rest of the pro heroes and policemen would have continued to raid the base. But after a couple minutes of running through the hallway, they would have encountered Toga and, well, twice, which would have been taken down very, very easily because, Deku and Certain Eye. Also, Mirio is there. Now, over with Eri, she is being taken away by Overhaul, as Overhaul would have been electrocuted, him being confused as a blob of slime would have appeared on Eri's, well, shoulders, it landing on the ground and transforming into, well, Deku, him picking up Eri and saying, "Sorry, Eri is not yours. She deserves her freedom." Him punching Overhaul in the face and kicking the other guy that was with Overhaul. After that, he would immediately jump away, him running through the hallway while whispering to Eri that everything will be fine and that he is here. But that was when two members of the Yakuza would have appeared in front of Deku, them being Sakaki and Nemoto. I believe that's what their names are. The guy in black clothing and has the quirk confession, the other guy being Sakaki, who was drinking alcohol and upside down, as Netmoto would have used his quirk on Deku, him asking what Deku's quirk is, which Deku would just say, "Sorry, I don't have a quirk." Netmoto being confused as he would immediately get electrocuted, as that was when Deku would have felt that he is basically drunk, him losing his balance and trying to regain it. But that was when a throwing knife would have went into Deku's back, him looking back to see Sakaki throwing more throwing knives towards him, which he barely dodges, as he would fire another wave of black lightning towards Sakaki, which Sakaki would have dodged the attack, and whenever he did, Netmoto would have pulled out a handgun, him aiming at Deku's head and firing it. This going through Deku's head as Deku would just stand there, with the hole closing, and him saying, "Sorry, you can't kill someone who's already died." Netmoto being confused as he would have been covered in slime. This also happening to Sakaki, as both of them would have been electrocuted until they are knocked out. And whenever they did, Deku would have regained his balance, him running back through the hallway trying to regroup with the raid team. But Not long after he ran through the hallway, a spike would have appeared from the ground and stabbed straight through Deku, which Deku, knowing that it will stab straight through him, he would have held Eri over his head. Him looking back to see Overhaul walking towards them. Him saying, "You will give me back my Eri. Otherwise, you are going to die." As Deku would just continue to run forward, him going straight through the spike that was, well, going straight through his chest. Overhaul being surprised as they would continue their chase, with Overhaul trying to stop Deku from getting away. But everything that he threw at Deku, Deku would have just basically went straight through them. As that was when Overhaul would have had enough, him destroying everything that is in his sight, with Deku creating wings and floating in, well, the air. This shocking Overhaul since he doesn't know what quirk Deku has. Overhaul yelling, "How many quirks do you have, hero?" "Sorry, Overhaul, I don't have any." Overhaul getting mad as he was about to, well, create more spikes. That was when the rest of the heroes and policemen would have arrived at the scene. Them being confused since there are two Dekus, which Deku would just say that the one that's holding Eri is a clone. And, well, Overhaul would have been overrun by heroes and swiftly defeated, because Mirio with his quirk is already more than enough to defeat Overhaul, and since Deku is there, well, Overhaul is just very, very outmatched, him being arrested by the heroes and policemen. And as he was being transferred into basically jail, he would have still been attacked by Shigaraki. And just as the anime, he would have lost both of his hands. Shigaraki also being there to save his comrades, which is Toga and Twice, since they did get beaten by Deku and the pro heroes, them being arrested by the policemen. Now, this will be the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. That will be amazing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!